Do you ever feel like the more you care about someone, the less they care about you? And it's like the moment you stop trying, then suddenly they're interested. Are you tired of trying to get people to see your worth? When you understand your worth, you no longer feel the need to convince other people of your value. And trying to convince somebody else of your worth is the same as trying to convince yourself. When you don't see your worth, you unconsciously signal to the universe to start showing you evidence of that. But it is not because you're not worthy that you see the evidence. It's because that's what you have attracted as a reflection to show you. Just like a mirror. When you look in a mirror, the mirror isn't you. A mirror is just reflecting the emotions that you are having. When you don't see your own worth, then you unconsciously signal to the whole universe to overlook it as well. The universe and people and the experiences that we have are mirrors reflecting back to us the vibration and the thoughts and feelings and beliefs that we have going on within ourselves. Attracting from a place of desperation will leave you feeling unseen, burnt out, and empty. And so I want to show you how you don't need to chase love and that you can attract it. You may not realize it, but when you're chasing love and really needing that reflection back to you, you're actually saying to the universe, I don't believe I'm worthy, so I need someone else to show me that I'm worthy. And when you don't get that reflection back to you, it's like this negative feedback system where you have this belief, I'm not worthy, and then that person didn't think I was worthy, and so it must be true. And then that sort of strengthens that belief system, and then you go and attract more and more and more of it, and that's how a cycle begins. And instead of broadcasting love, you're actually broadcasting need and lack. And from that place of need and lack, you are more likely to attract people that have traits of narcissism, because narcissists feed off people that will orbit around them, and they need to have that feeling of they're being worshipped. So the less self-confidence that you have and the less sure knowing that you have about your worth, the more likely you will end up in a toxic relationship that will continue to drain your energy and reflect back to you the worth that you really think you are. Because to end up in a relationship like that, you don't value yourself enough to choose or to believe that you could attract somebody that could reflect back to you a different version of yourself. All interpersonal relationships will mirror back to you the relationship that you have with yourself. That is the most important thing here. And it's the common denominator in every single relationship that you have. For example, an emotionally unavailable partner. This is very common, and it's something that I myself have been through. But what it is actually reflecting back to you is that you have been emotionally unavailable to yourself. This stems from you emotionally abandoning yourself during times of need and not attending to your own emotions by either distracting, suppressing, or criticizing yourself instead of having really good self-talk, like nurturing yourself and being like, no, that's okay. That doesn't mean X, Y, and Z. But when you sort of abandon your own emotions, you tend to lean towards things like, that was my fault. Of course that would happen to me. I'm not worthy and that's why it's happening. And sometimes people aren't really aware of these unconscious thoughts, but they feel not so great. So being aware of the thoughts that you're thinking is so important. From this place of abandoning your own emotions, you then attract partners who will do the same to you and who aren't available for you when you need support the most. They're reflecting back to you how you treat yourself. So the sooner that you can accept that what you're seeing in your relationships is a reflection of the vibration that you have going on within you, that's when you can start to change that and start to change your opinion of yourself and start to attract different outcomes. You get what you think about every single time. A belief is formed from a thought that we continue to think over and over and over again. You just imagine any scenario where you've heard about brainwashing, and it starts from people telling somebody who they are over and over and over again until that person starts to believe it. And it's no different within our own internal world. The more we tell ourselves the same story over and over again, the more we start to really believe that story. And that's where the belief comes from. And a belief is like a blueprint. It covers everything in your life, and it dictates how everything functions. If you have a belief that you are not worthy, then you will continually see evidence of that forming throughout your life. So if you can change the way you think, you can change what you believe. And if you can change what you believe, you can change the entire layout of this creation that you've made of your life. And that's how you can change what you see in the future. It starts now, and it starts between your ears. That's where the real work needs to be done, is in your mind. It is all a creation that you've made. And also start to accept that you are worthy despite the current reflections that you have going on, because you may not see an immediate change in your reflection until that really clicks in for you. You might think that you've done all the inner work, and then you end up in a relationship that's toxic again. And then you start to realize, oh, actually, you know what? I thought I had overcome this, but after being in this relationship, I can see now that I haven't done all of the work, because it is law. If you love yourself and completely accept yourself, you will see that reflection in your relationships. So my advice to you is, if you have a tendency to end up in one relationship and then another one and another one and another one, look at why, first of all, why you can't be alone, and start to maybe think about having a break. Taking a big, long pause from having relationships consistently, and start to work on the relationship with yourself. The most important relationship that you can have, because I can tell you now that not everyone will be able to be there for you every moment of the day. So if you're not supportive of yourself and you need other people to be supporting you all the time, what happens when they're not there one day? What happens if they're unavailable, or if they leave you? You're going to be left unsupported in times when you need that. And that is where you need to trust the universe to be supporting you, and trust in yourself that you can attract situations that are going to be good for you. If you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself, then when things get bad in life, say if somebody that you love dies, or you lose your job, or whatever it might be, if you don't have someone in your life, then you rely on other people to give you support, then you're not going to feel supported in the times when they're not around. And not only that, but to attract somebody from that place of need, you're going to end up in relationships that are toxic anyway. So supporting yourself emotionally is the very first step into recovering from this place of feeling like these relationships are no good for you. So you might be asking, how do I change how I think? I'm so busy in my day that I don't have time to examine every single thought. It all starts with what you think about, and you can absolutely change every single thought to match what you really want in life. So if you have a negative thought come in, feel it. Feel what it feels like to think that thought. If it feels good, then that's a thought that you can keep thinking. And if it feels bad, then that's a sign from your inner being saying, hey, you're going further away from me. That's what negative emotion is and positive emotion is. Positive emotion is like joy and passion and love and acceptance and wholeness. All those sort of feelings come from a place of you being in line with your inner being and in line with source energy. And it's like your inner being saying to you, yes, I 100% agree with that. That is true. And so that's what positive emotion is. It's like a marrying of the energies. It's beautiful and it attracts wonderful things. But if you feel anything less than that, if you feel fear or doubt or blame or shame or any of those other negative emotions, then you're moving away from your inner being. And it's that separation that you're feeling that makes you feel so uncomfortable. But use it. It doesn't dictate your worth. Just because you feel worthless does not mean that you are worthless. It means that you are moving away from the opinion and the perspective of your inner being who says that you are worthy, or else you wouldn't be here, because creation doesn't make mistakes. You are here for a reason. And if you are feeling anything less than in love with yourself, then you are not in line with the way that your inner being sees you. And you need to get in line if you want to attract the life that you want. This is where the work is. By the more you feel good and the more that you are in love with life and yourself, and the more that these thoughts that go through your mind are pleasing to you and soothing and comforting and supportive, the more that you will start to attract and have that reflection on the outside of your life. It is so important to question every negative thought that comes through your mind, and that's where the real work starts. And that's how it started for me when I was recovering from anorexia. I decided that day that I was going to actually question the validity of those thoughts, because I knew at that point I had some sort of internal knowing that, hang on a minute, I don't actually have to believe every thought. What if this thought isn't correct? What if I am good enough? And I started to muse and play with those ideas that maybe all these thoughts that have been running through my head all these years, maybe they're not true. And maybe I can choose different thoughts. And it was a slow process for me because there was so much momentum going in that area of my life. But I am so glad I started when I did, because slowly over these last few years, I've unraveled my mind and I've created so much space, so much creative space in my mind that I was able to let other things in and able to focus on other things in my life. And so when you take a hold of your mind, that is when the real power starts. And that is when you can start to create change in your life. And it is so satisfying, let me tell you. When you see your life starting to shift and you can see the tangible evidence that you have changed your vibration, there's nothing like it. So I highly encourage you to start taking a hold of your mind. So step 1. To recognize that the reflection that you are seeing is just that. It is a reflection. It is not a statement of your worth. Recognize that what you put out is what you are getting back. That's step 1. Step 2, I want you to start to take a hold of your mind and actually question every single thought that comes through your mind. It's the growth. You need to grow on the inside and change the way that you see yourself and know your worth. Knowing your worth will affect everything, every choice you make, every decision, every outcome. Knowing your worth is so vital. And the third step is trust. You need to trust in the universe. And sometimes that means that you're going to feel a little bit uncomfortable by not doing something. For me, it was trusting that this inner work that I was doing was actually going to get me the relationship that I want down the track. And now that I've been on my own for over a year, I can see the tangible evidence of me just loving myself. I now don't feel the need to be in a relationship, and I am extremely picky, and I'm attracting, I'm not chasing. I am attracting all these, and I have a beautiful friendship that came through. That was something I didn't have a lot of because I was so focused on these relationships that friendships kind of fell by the wayside because they couldn't give me enough feedback of my worth and my value. So now that I have created all this space in my mind, in my life, and started to value myself, I've attracted a beautiful friendship that is so expansive and in line with my journey and my path. My life has changed dramatically because I decided to start to trust the universe and to know my worth and to know that every reflection that I see is because of me, not because they are doing something wrong. And it's not because I'm not worthy. It's because of what I feel about myself. So I encourage you today to take out your journal and to write down, where have I been giving my power away? What do I currently believe is true about myself? And what do I want to believe is true about myself? And then I want you to write down a detailed description of the kind of person you want to embody, the version of yourself that you want to be. What are they like? What is their facial expression like? How do they feel? How do they move through the world? What are they wearing? What are the people that are around them? I want you to go into so much detail describing your ideal life and the ideal version of yourself. And hold that in your mind's eye and in your vision, and start to line up every single thought that you have with that version of yourself. You are so worthy beyond description. I can't even express it. The universe has given you such freedom in creation that it allows you to create whatever you want based on what goes on within you. And when you start to take creative control, it is so much fun. You are the master of your reality, the creator of your reality, and you can be and do and have anything you want. And I believe in you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and drop me a comment below and tell me what your experience is. I would love to hear from you, and like and subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more of these videos. So much love and appreciation for you all. If this video resonated with you and you would like one-on-one spiritual guidance sessions with me, please check the description below for more details. And just letting you guys know that at the moment I'm offering free sessions for those who are willing to be recorded and uploaded to my channel so that I can share my work with the world. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next video.